Well, as you no doubt know by now, every Thursday morning at 11:30, we like to do a little thing that's on the lighter side. Take a break from the heavy stuff in the news cycle and have some fun. I'm not sure how much fun today is going to be, at least not for me, but that's okay. I like the role I get to play, especially in this particular conversation. It is the conversation that rears its ugly, non-Christmas head every holiday season, whether or not Die Hard is a Christmas movie. We welcome to the program a good friend of mine who, he loves to, every year, he loves to troll me on this, likes to remind me that he thinks that Die Hard is a Christmas movie. He is a host of the Mid-Credit Scene podcast right here in the fine region of Waterloo, Mike Pereira. Michael, good morning.
Good morning, and I'm neutral. I am the moderator, so I'm very neutral here. I will not take a position. People can vote on Twitter later.
Okay, that's fair. Although you also do like to troll me on this, just because it's the holidays, we have to have some fun.
I like to encourage discussion. Let's go with that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like you said, I, along with my good friend Michael Clark, we host a Mid-Credit Scene, which is a podcast where we talk to local people about movies. Which is a lot of fun for us. Like you said, I think it is one of Waterloo Region's fondest holiday traditions, up there with the wonders of winter in Waterloo Park or the Christkindle Market. And there's just nothing like firing up the old social media machine and shouting from the digital rooftops at Mike that Die Hard is a Christmas movie. And, you know, Mike always, like St. Nick saying, ho, 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 Mike replies to all saying, no, no, no. And so I said, hey, listen, let's settle this once and for all with structured debate, like the debaters created by Richard Sidey. I'm really hoping that they don't send Steve Patterson after us for this, but, you know, Brittlestar, you know him. With any honest debate, we brought in a ringer. So hundreds of thousands of people watch Brittlestar's videos every week, and his work has been seen more than 600 million times, which is boggling. A global fan base, an invitation to the White House, speaking engagements all over North America, and collaborations with celebrities like Ryan Reynolds and Gordon Ramsay. Brittlestar, aka Stuart Reynolds, is living a social media celebrity dream, which is not bad for him, for a dad from Stratford. It's pretty great. Today, though, he's taking on his biggest challenge. Probably not, but he's here, and we're super, super grateful for that. Gentlemen, so welcome, Brittlestar. Thank you so much for joining us for this.
Thank you for having me. I feel it feels good to be part of something that's really, truly worthwhile of our time at this part of the year.
Absolutely.
I'm so glad you put it that way, because it is, right? This is the best use of our time leading into the holidays. And Mike, you and Michael at the Mid-Credit Scene podcast deserve all the credit for the inspiration to bring it to this show and to bring Brittlestar in as part of it. Well done all around.
Well, thank you so much. So, you guys know the rules. You have 90 seconds to make your case. We'll do a bit of a bare knuckle round. Maybe if there's time, I'll challenge you with a couple trivia questions, and then we'll hear your closing arguments. Please acknowledge your acceptance of the rules with a yippee-ki-yay.
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 So, be it resolved that despite the guns blazing, explosions exploding, and distinct lack of sugar plums dancing, Die Hard is in fact a heartwarming holiday romp that is really all about the eternal Christmas themes of family, friends, and togetherness. Brittlestar, you're arguing for this. You have 90 seconds.
Thank you. Let me paint you a picture. An outsider, an outcast, an unwanted individual, someone deemed not good enough, someone deemed unworthy, a little bit too unusual, a little bit different. He doesn't look the same as everyone else. No shoes, a dirty face, a maverick, if you will. But he's just looking for companionship. He just wants to be loved. He only wants a caring relationship. He wants to be accepted, and he wants things to be good. He wants peace. He wants joy. He just wants holly and all the other magical parts of Christmas to come back and be as wonderful as always, to return things to normal. But instead, what is he met with? He's met with a hostile situation on Christmas Eve, no less. A night that should be filled with peace and joy, but not for our hero, no. He's rejected by some and outright ostracized by others. He's then forced to retreat to places that no one would normally go. He's faced with a dangerous situation, a situation that seemingly only he can resolve. Does he hesitate? No. He commits himself fully to the task. He is resolved to bringing an end to this crisis, and in the end, he gets Holly and the rest of the Christmas spirit that he longed for. And even though parts of him are red raw, he's proud of those parts. For these flaws, and I'm air quoting for those just listening, have made him who he is. He is the one who saved Christmas.
Wow. That was pretty great, Mike. This is an uphill battle. And now to convince you that it doesn't matter how many Christmas trees a movie has if they're all planted on top of a mountain of bodies is your beloved host, Mike Farwell.
If John McClane is indeed seeking peace, he has an awfully violent way of achieving it. I hope you noticed that I wore for you today my most festive of ties to remind you what Christmas is all about. It's those pastoral settings where snow is gently falling, and we do look indeed for peace and merriment and goodwill towards our fellow humans, even if they are trying to rob Nakatomi Plaza. See, here is the problem. Setting does not equal story, and the movie Die Hard is the same movie, even without any references to Christmas as part of it. The story is about John McClane destroying, kicking the severe butts of the bad guys, and whether it's a Christmas party or a promotional party for his wife who just got the promotion, John McClane would still be kicking the bad guys' derrieres, and we would cheer on John McClane for doing that. Allow me to add this. If, for example, there was such a thing as an Easter party, some of the references made in the script would still stand. Work with me on this one. Now I have an Easter basket full of detonators. Hippity, hippity, hop. It works the same. The movie is about John McClane beating bad guys and nothing else. And the setting does not change the ultimate goal or meaning of that movie.
Compelling. I don't know if I'm on board with the hippity hippity hop line as good, but we're going to move on to the bare knuckle round. Gentlemen, this is your opportunity to openly refute your opponent's arguments and express your outrage at their outrage. It's just like Twitter. Remember, this is daytime radio, though, so let's keep it good and clean. I don't want to see either of you head for the ductwork. Have at it.
Fair enough. I would like to address Mike's comments about should it be set in Easter and any other time of year. Mike, would you have peace and joy only at the Christmas season, or do you wish that year round, or do you wish to smite those for the other 11 months of the year?
I do wish peace and joy the year round, every month of the year, which is why this movie stands up, whether it's July when it was released or December when many choose to watch it.
Well, let me remind you, of course, that at the beginning of the film, we have family mentioned, stockings mentioned, chestnuts roasting by an open fire, Rudolph, Frosty, Ebenezer Scrooge, all mentioned in the first 3 minutes and 50 seconds of the movie. This is more than setting. This is coloring the scene. This is setting the tone for the movie, which can only be set at Christmas time. Sure, John McClane would be able to go in and severely kick the butts of the bad guys any time of the year, but he's doing it at Christmas, and he's doing it for Christmas.
I think just to prove how much of an afterthought Christmas was in this movie, the Christmas party is taking place on Christmas Eve. What kind of Grinchy corporation holds a Christmas party on Christmas Eve? Dare I say, Mr. Tagaki deserved what he got for scheduling the party on Christmas Eve.
Oh my God. I feel that has gone too far, and that may have undermined your point. I think that we don't know how things happen in Los Angeles. That's probably just how they do it in California. As we've evidenced throughout the movie, John McClane is having trouble adjusting to being in California. He finds it all a bit foreign, and this may just be one more California cultural difference that he's unused to.
And you talked about all of the references early on, Brittlestar, and I acknowledge that they are indeed there. But if that is going to be our measuring stick for the Christmasness of this movie, I will remind you of two things. One is the movie Annie Hall makes mention of Christmas more times than the movie Die Hard, and nobody is arguing that Annie Hall is a Christmas movie. And to further the point that this movie is really about John McClane kicking butt, it mentions the word gun more than 4 times as often as it mentions Christmas.
I do have to bring your
stuff.
attention, of course, that of course this movie also features a character, the police officer sergeant, whose name is, according to the deputy police chief, Jesus Christ Powell. Jesus Christ Powell is in the convenience store looking for treats for his wife, who is pregnant. Sound familiar to you? I'm not a very religious person. However, I do recognize it's a big part of the Christmas story for many, and I think that's unrefutable.
In all this time, I thought it was Carl. Well done.
Well done. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do we have time for some trivia?
Absolutely.
Excellent. So our trivia round is brought to you by the dark horse of Christmas films, 1989's Jaws: The Revenge. Nothing says holiday spirit like a grieving family celebrating Christmas in the Bahamas under siege by a great white shark. Truly terrible film. Actor Alan Rickman, may he rest in peace, is renowned for his menacing portrayal of die-hard villain Hans Gruber. What was Alan Rickman's first film role?
Ooh, that's a good one. Was it Love Actually? I'm just going to guess.
It was not.
Okay.
Was it the prequel Die a Little Less Hard?
No, so this was a bit of a trick question. It is actually Die Hard. This is Alan Rickman's first film.
No
and
way.
It's pretty incredible.
It's very incredible.
Yeah. I mean, it was Alan Rickman. Die Hard is based on what 1978 novel written by former police officer Roderick Thorpe?
The Detective.
Jaws 3, The
Close.
Revenge.
It was Jaws 3D. Well,
3D.
thank you.
Sorry.
You're very close, actually. It was actually built, it was based on the sequel to that one, I believe, called Nothing Lasts Forever. Bonus
the
question.
Detective. Okay.
Yeah. So
That's a very
Nothing Lasts
famous
Forever.
Christmas,
Yeah,
very
of course.
famous Christmas book.
It is a very famous Christmas book. Bonus question. Thorpe was inspired to write the novel after watching what 1974 disaster film?
Oh,
Poseidon
Inferno.
Adventure.
Brittlestar wins it. First
Towering
point of the trivia. The Towering Inferno. He watched the movie, had a dream about someone trying to escape from villains in an office tower, and wrote the Nothing Lasts Forever.
Another great Christmas movie.
You mean kind of like the tagline to the movie that doesn't say anything about, oh, he just wanted to get home for Christmas. It's like 23 stories of sheer terror. That part? Anyway, I digress. I didn't mean to insert another argument into the trivia round.
That's an egregious misuse of the trivia round. Last question. So, go ahead.
I was just going to jump in and say, but you have another question. I was just going to say, could we acknowledge that Brittlestar won the trivia 1-0? Like, we're pretty terrible at trivia there, Brittlestar.
Yeah, I feel that our general knowledge is poor.
Okay, I'm gonna give you one. Die Hard grossed approximately $140 million at the global box office in 1988, which is pretty good. But what is the highest grossing Christmas film of all time?
I'm going to say
I did not know this, by the way.
Christmas Vacation.
I was going to say the same, but I'll allow you to have that, and I'll jump on with Jingle All the Way. No.
Oh, wow. That's a disaster movie.
Deep
yes,
cut.
it is.
The answer is 2018's The Grinch, the animated one.
Wow.
513 million global box office. Even adjusted for inflation, it beats out everything.
Amazing.
I will note here that when I looked up highest grossing Christmas films, none of the lists list Die Hard, even though it would sneak in there from a box office standpoint. Yeah,
Bad
Gotcha.
sources.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Closing arguments. It's the final opportunity to win the day. So tie the proverbial fire hose around your waist as you leap from atop the Nakatomi Plaza that is this debate. Now to tell you once again why guns blazing in the office rather than a fire blazing in the hearth means Die Hard, a Christmas movie ain't, is your host and mine, Mike Farwell.
All right. So really it is and has always been for me as simple as this. What we need to do here is respect how we categorize Christmas movies. We have to define what a Christmas movie is and then adhere to that definition. Otherwise, we have utter chaos in the cinematic universe. And what Christmas movies never have had nor should have is a body count. Certainly not one as high as the body count in Die Hard. So while we can try as much as we would like to make this a story about family reunification, really all it is a Christmas party and the season that draws John McClane to California so he can kick the butts of thieves. Same movie, no matter when it is set. And I know I have drilled this point home, so let me take it even further. There have been not one or two, but 4 sequels to Die Hard. Why did none of them capitalize on this grand Christmas theme? How could they forget to cash in on the Christmasness of the original movie? Oh, because there is no Christmasness in the original movie. And if you don't want to take it from me, take it from John McClane himself. Bruce Willis has made it clear that Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. It is a blankety blank Bruce Willis movie. And even Bruce Willis's mom has acknowledged not a Christmas movie. If you want to disagree with them and disappoint mom at the holiday season, you go right ahead. But I shall not do that.
Wow. All right. And here again to make the case that you've got to look past the guns and the bodies to the deeper human condition of John McClane. It's the internet's favorite dad, Brittlestar.
Earlier in my opening argument, I told you a synopsis that you thought was about Die Hard. However, I described a hero, an ostracized hero with skills and talents and physical attributes that people felt were abnormal. And I was actually talking about and providing the synopsis for Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. That's right. That famous Christmas absolute classic. And I ask you to ask your hearts, if this was about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and we all agree that Rudolph is one of the classics of Christmas lore, and you thought that I was talking about Die Hard, then this proves conclusively, once and for all, that Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
What is happening?
He's disrobing from one Santa suit into it. Wow, you're ripped, Brittlestar.
Yippee-ki-yay, Mother Christmas.
Brilliant. That was a bit of a hammer drop at the end there.
Very.
I'm not sure I can declare a winner, but our listeners can if they go to twitter.com/midcreditscene. We're going to put a poll up and let the people decide, because it would be unfair for me to make this decision alone. I will remind you, however, that Twitter polls, I think, are legally binding. So even if you don't vote, we're all bound by the decision that happens there.
I'm very okay with that. I think that makes perfect sense. So twitter.com/midcreditscene. Remember, please, when you vote, that my esteemed co-debater this morning has initials BS. Pardon?
And my opponent has the initials MF. Yippee-ki-yay.
I want to thank you both for joining us for this. This was awesome. And especially Brittlestar for chiming in all the way from Stratford. It's a bummer we couldn't actually get together in person, but the ice had other plans. You can find Brittlestar on the interwebs at brittlestar.com or just about anywhere on social media at Brittlestar. You can find Mike on at Farwell_WR, and of course here on the radio, I think, very often. And you can find our little movie podcast if you want to check it out on Twitter and Instagram at midcreditscene.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because just before we take a break on the radio show side of this, it's so tough being governed by all these rules. And we love our sponsors, though, so we look forward to hearing from them in just a moment. But this Mid-Credit Scene podcast, Mike, that you and Michael Clark do, deserves some due here. I love the work that the two of you are doing on this. And what inspired it? How did you get together and start doing this?
It was a pandemic and we were bored. And the funny thing is this is how I met Michael. We'd interacted on Twitter, but we didn't know each other. But we wanted to find, could we use the podcast medium to get to know people in the community? And we were like, well, everybody likes movies. We love movies. Everybody's probably got a favorite movie, and we can just talk about things through the lens of the movie. So it was really fun. Brittlestar, do you have a favorite movie that isn't Die Hard?
Die Hard. It's my favorite Christmas movie.
Truth of it all. And Mike, because I've had the chance to be on your podcast before, and you asked me about a favorite movie, and mine is Rocky, which I would argue also, by the way, it's a Christmas movie. Paulie even brings home a wreath, but anyway, we'll just leave it over there.
It's a good pick. I'm not sure it's a Christmas movie.
It's a good pick as a great movie, yes. And I'm going to agree. I'm not sure it's a Christmas movie, same as Die Hard. But you have made this a lot of fun. Twitter.com/midcreditscene is where the Twitter poll will be conducted, and we will adhere to the results of said Twitter poll. Brittlestar, thank you very much for joining us and doing such a great job on the pro side of this argument.
Thank you so much for having me. Merry Christmas and happy holidays.
Merry Christmas to you as well. Mike Pereira, the host, along with Michael Clark of the Mid-Credit Scene podcast, joining us on the Mike Farwell Show. This is the Flip Side, City News 570 and Rogers TV.